You know, I'm sitting in a park right now with sparkles on my face, and I'm wearing an outfit that probably an 8-year-old girl would wear, and all of this like accumulation of childlike play and way of living is really starting to get to me. I don't know if this makes any sense, but I really feel the past few months I've really kind of converted to the sense of carelessness. And being a nanny and working with children have really taught me that. I've always had a really strong belief that having a childlike heart will really open up magical doors that most logical and rational adults will never be able to enter. I'm not saying being naive and ignorant to reality is the key, but I'm saying that living in each moment and doing things just to do them without reason or an objective motive is the way. I think that we often get really caught in the mind tricks, and it always made sense to me that, sorry, I'm gonna keep like flipping because I'm just trying to get my arm right, but I think the motive here, like the Egyptians portrayed, was that it's about the heart, it's about the intuition. I don't think it was randomly decided that they would throw away the brain and keep the heart when burying a mummy or a pharaoh. So I want to tell you guys of an experience I had last night. I went to a show with my best friends, and I ended up drinking quite a bit, and it was good though. It was good, and even though that's like an adult thing to do, like everything I do always brings me back to that childlike nature and that innocence and curiosity for life. But there was a moment after the first band had played, there was a moment where there was background noise and a lot of bass, and there were so many people talking, and I was having this really deep spiritual experience, and it really occurred to me because I grew up in a very, like, not super religious, but I grew up as a Mormon, and even though my family was really laid back, the things that were pretty much forced upon us in church were things like you can't feel the Holy Spirit or the Holy Ghost, or you can't feel at peace if you're not in God's temple or God's house. And my parents like always argued like contrary things to this in church, but like I started to believe this because my church leaders and all that shit was like always, you know, in my face. And I've had a few moments, but this was one of those moments where I realized that, like my DMT trip, everything is still Christ. You can feel what it means to be God. You can feel Jesus's or Christ or Gandhi or Krishna or anyone, Shiva, or any being or entity's divine spirit if you allow for it. I think it's the blockages of saying, oh, this is not a holy place and I can't feel holy and I can't feel love, that limit us. And really, everything we do, if we can see that it's Christ in everything, it's love in everything, Christ consciousness is in everything. That's why children are so in awe of the universe. That's why we as adults take psychedelics, to revert back to that childlike nature and to see things as we once did before, with color and vibrancy and love. And I just think about all of the times as a little girl when I'd ride my bike to school in the morning and I'd ride into the sun and super early to pick up my friends on my bike. And I remember just the silence and hearing my tires against the cement and birds chirp and the sun slowly rising. And I remember just always kind of having this intense, like, meditative sphere around me. And a lot of the time I would like cry when I rode my bike because I realized how blessed I was, and there was so much depth around me and in me that I wasn't really necessarily aware of, but I could feel it, and I didn't need to categorize it or name it or say this is what I'm doing. I just felt it. And it's hard because I've developed my ego and it's grown very strong, so I feel like I always have to analyze these moments of eternity, just like I'm telling you about the one at the concert. And you know, I don't know if that's always necessary to externalize things, but I have to forgive myself through it because that's just the way I process now. I don't have that total perception as I did as a child, and I can say I am a little more developed and keen and a lot more senses, but I still strive every day to revert back to that non-judgment space. But anyways, at the concert there was this like really intense, it sounded like a heart chakra or like a chakra binaural beat in the back, and like I literally was trying to tell my friends, I was like, do you hear this? Do you feel this? And then I just couldn't help it. I was like, this is eternity. I keep understanding eternity that much more. And like I just felt so much love for everything, and I couldn't stop smiling. And I don't know, and like, yeah, okay, sure, I had some alcohol, which I don't normally drink that much, because I can see how it can be pretty detrimental, but sometimes when I do, I have these really uplifting, enlightening experiences, and that just goes to show, though, that like in any state of mind, really, you can see the light. That goes for location, that goes for substances, that goes for you being completely sober as well. I've had the most intense experiences without anything. No psychedelics, no substitutes like alcohol or Ormus, or not even like necessarily getting into a meditation. I've had experiences like fall upon me, into me, because I just opened a door and I just said, I allow, and I stepped into that childlike heart space. I say this a lot, I feel like, but I'm really, really grateful for the way I was raised, and that in my home, this teaching was so prevalent to us as kids. My parents are so in touch with the truth and the love and the unconditional way of living and seeing Christ. So I luckily was raised in a setting where this was very, very accessible to me to understand and learn these simple truths. But yeah, children are the light of the world, and it's amazing to see these generations being born, because they're acquiring so much knowledge and wisdom every single generation. It's unbelievable the things that they say, and it gives me a lot of hope, and this makes me like want to have children. In high school I was like, I don't want to have children, I don't want to bring people into this negative world, you know, that kind of like that super dark like mind space that a lot of people have when they turn towards spiritual things. But I do want to have children and see the progression and allow for another individual to experience this humanness and to evolve us, because they constantly, the children are evolving us, and they will continue to forever. It's really beautiful. One time I was at the beach, and I mean, my niece, I have 2 nieces, and we have a 3rd baby coming on the way in our family. But my niece, we were on the beach, and she told my brother, she picks up like a rock or a stone or something, and she says, "Duda." Her name is Kiki. She says, "Duda, I have a secret to tell you." And he says, "What?" And then she said, "There's a flower in every rock." And then he said, "Really?" And then her mom came up and she goes, "Shh, don't tell mommy, it's a secret, remember?" And she says things like this, like the flower of life, like what the hell? She knows that there's a flower in everything. And then one time I asked her, I held up, like, after that experience, I held up this flower of life thing, and I said, "What is this?" And she says, she looked at it and says, "It's the flower." I was like, okay. And then another time, this is a little different, but like, she was so in touch with like extraterrestrial experiences, and one night when I had something happen in her house, the next night she said, "Suki, I saw them take you, and they brought you to my room." And then I asked her like what they did to me, and she explained a little bit, and she told me of like how her and her little sister, her little baby sister, have been taken several times, and how what they do to her sister and her, and where they put her, and like all of this really intense stuff that I've never even disclosed to them. I've never talked about aliens and ETs or abductions or anything like that, and it's unbelievable what she said. But then my brother came in, and she immediately did the thing with, "Shh, it's a secret." And then I said, "You can't tell Duda?" And she says, "You can tell him the first day of snowfall." Yeah, kids are unbelievable. Yeah, I yearn every single day to step back into that heart space. And even as an adult, I'm finding I'm going to continue to do things that allow me to be there. Whether it's like putting sparkles on my face, dressing like a little girl, or just laughing uncontrollably. Because I do that, and a lot of the time people think that's immature to find humor in things, and when things get serious, all I can do is laugh. And really, that's all we can do, is find the cosmic humor in all things. It's unbelievable what happens within the very core of our souls when we embrace this childlike spirit. I really find that it's easier to become that unitative soul again, to reconnect with the whole. Because as an adult, and having an adult agenda doesn't really allow for me to let go of my ego and my individuality. But as a kid, it's all one embracing. Like, kids just want togetherness. They want unity and love. And I know that not all kids are free from their karma. A lot of kids are born into this world with a lot of heaviness, and I'm aware of that. And it's an unfortunate thing, but for the most part, children who are born as just pure children, they know. And even the ones that are born with these complexities, they still know too. They just have addictions or things attached to them. But that doesn't mean that they can't feel love and light either. Because we're all, in the end, we're all children. We all have baggage. We're just trying to clear it and get back to that space. Anyways, these two ladies are like yelling. Well, they're not yelling. They're two Chinese ladies, and it always sounds like they're yelling at each other, but they're just talking. It's good. Anyways, I'm gonna go play in the park. For real. Thank you for listening. Oh, look at what I did last night. I'm sorry. I did a hair wrap on my dread. Got like 2 colors going. I'm really excited. I'm probably gonna do more, but anyways, thank you so much for listening, and my time is coming close for Argentina. It's insane. And I think I'm going to Seattle this weekend or something, but we'll see. Lots of traveling and adventure coming my way, and I'm hoping that people are also finding freedom in whatever that is, even if it's not traveling or moving and it's like stagnant. You can still find total freedom and bliss in being stagnant physically. Anyways, thank you again for listening. Thank you for all your love and support, and I honestly cherish everyone like who listens to me and who genuinely like cares. It's really quite amazing how all of us individuals can come together through such a platform like YouTube. That's insane, and it makes me really, really excited and grateful for the progression and the vision that we all have and are sharing. Anyways, thanks for listening.